authority, to being listened to without interruptions. Now that he had her attention, he slowed down and paused between sentences. He was making an effort to contain his anxiety. Disappeared? How long ago? What was she doing in Cairo?
She was vague. We last met at a seminar 2 weeks ago, and she mentioned in passing that she was going to Egypt. I didn't think much of it, and we mostly talked about a paper she was preparing. I think she said something about meeting family or friends, but when I go over the conversation now, I don't know if I heard that or have added it in. But she was emphatic that she'd be back in plenty of time for a seminar yesterday, when she was due to present her paper. She was too conscientious to let me down without good reason.
He paused. When he began again, there was a tremor in his voice, and he had to clear his throat.
Just before boarding at Heathrow, she emailed her phone number and gave the contact details for her hotel in Cairo. She said it was just in case. I thought that was odd, but she's mature. She knows the Middle East well. She's told me something of her background, her father and so on, and I reasoned to myself that she wouldn't run any risks.
Did she email or WhatsApp from Egypt? Fauzia ignored Jack beckoning to her through the glass wall of the meeting room.
A week ago she emailed to say that she was enjoying the sunshine and had pretty much finished the paper. She had a minor query. I replied and explained the running order for the seminar, and that we had an additional speaker. We've been trying to get the Foreign Office to help. They won't do anything. They say she is not a British national.
Who's we? And, sorry, I didn't catch your name?
I've got the university involved. I thought they would carry more clout. I'm Tim Blatchford, Professor in International Relations and Fellow at Corpus.
Fauzia thought of when Reem had last come down from Cambridge. Reem had wrapped her thin, reddened hands around the coffee cup. She was cold. She didn't like the British winter, but she was cheerful. She hadn't said anything about an imminent trip to Egypt. Always that bright determination and compact presence, her hijab neatly tied around her head, and her careful makeup. Reem had fired a series of questions at her about the Wilcox Smiths, Fauzia's former in-laws. Fauzia tried to answer, but Reem already knew more than she had ever done.
I'm making headway. I've been piecing it together for over a year, and it's coming together. I found a letter in a library in Cambridge, a letter from Phoebe Wilcox Smith. The funny thing is, she set the ball rolling, she said thoughtfully.
But it was her husband, Martin, who set up the business, protested Fauzia. Her heart sank. Reem was still pursuing the subject.
I know. I was surprised as well, but believe me, it all starts with Phoebe in Iran. She knew what she was doing. I've got some loose threads to tie up in the next few weeks, and then you'll see. I feel uncomfortable, though, digging all this up about Phoebe. I like her.
Reem went on, her forehead creased with a deep frown.
She has been very kind to me. You know she paid for my grandparents to fly over for my graduation.
Yes, I'd heard something about that. It's the least she could do. Spare change, replied Fauzia. I grant you that she is kind, but there is something about her which is unforgivable.
That's too harsh. Last summer I really came to love her, and I know she felt the same about me. That makes my research difficult, but...
She took a sip of coffee, and there was a pause in the conversation as they both took stock of the implications of that phrase.
I suppose you could say we're a bit alike.
Fauzia raised her eyebrows, surprised.
We both know what we want, and that makes us very determined.
She had a few more questions about the family. Ages, dates of marriages, children, and took notes. As they'd said goodbye, Fauzia reminded Reem that the Wilcox Smith family had always known how to keep things hidden. But Reem only laughed.
Maybe not this time.
Fauzia pulled her attention back to the voice on the other end of the line. Blatchford was saying,
The Bahraini government won't help. The university asked the ambassador in London, but he said she no longer has citizenship. Her father was made stateless 4 years ago. It's got nothing to do with them.
She was definitely in Cairo. You're sure she didn't go anywhere else? Our stringer can look into it. What was her hotel address? Fauzia Googled the hotel, and a shabby place in a back street on Jazeera Island came up.